Hey, Hannah Mouse 1 here. Welcome back to my Building Hogwarts series, in which I make a miniature version of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry out of household materials like cardboard, and in this video I will be focusing on the Great Hall. For this part of the building I'm going to be doing both the interior and the exterior, and the roof will be detachable. So the initial process is very similar to how I did the entranceway in the previous episode, where I cut out the windows from the top half of the cardboard and then almost slide it into place with the piece below, so that way you can't see the seam, and then I use a piece of clear plastic between the two, and that creates the window. Although the difference with this wall is that there are 2 layers of windows. I initially do this a bit too big in proportion to my other piece, so I cut off a bit of that, and I do the same on the other side. I do wish I painted the undersides of these before I stuck them on. It would have been neater, but oh well. Benefit of hindsight, I suppose, and I do that on the other walls. This was kind of a learning experience on this first one. I use layers of cardboard to add depth, like the bit at the top kind of juts out, so I add an extra layer of cardboard across that. And for the front walls and any in-between walls, I use these pentagon shapes, and I cut out a door from one of them. I also have to cut out a square from the wall to create a flat area for a tower to go on. I'm not entirely sure what would be in here. I presume it's the antechamber that they use during Goblet of Fire, but it seems like it's too far down for that. But you won't be able to see inside this bit. This is more of an external feature for this build. And besides, I am focusing more on getting it to look like Hogwarts externally, and then I can figure out what rooms are where in relation to that. The back wall has a massive window in it, so I create that using thin pieces of cardboard to create these slats in the windows, and then I attach that onto the rest of the piece. Any of these shiny sides of cardboard, like the cereal boxes, I gesso first, just because I have had previous experience of struggling to get paint to adhere to those, and gesso just makes that process slightly faster. Gesso is just a basic white acrylic primer, by the way. I'm using poster paint, but it does the same function. I create a wall that divides the Great Hall from the entranceway, and I start to pave the flooring using tiny rectangles. The entranceway has slightly smaller tiles than the rest of the hall, and then I add on the internal dividing wall, and then I do the larger tiles on the other side, as so. I just stick these on. And I also create a raised platform at the end where the teachers will sit. It's just kind of like the high platform that the teachers are on. And then I paint these as well. I do the floors in brown for the Great Hall and grey for the external area, and I do try and add a bit of variation to the ones in the Great Hall just to make it look a bit more visually interesting. I also use an extremely dark black wash. I do start to bring colour back into that later on, but it just helps make everything a bit less saturated. And I also create these tiny little tables. These are the fiddliest things ever to make, but I do think they came out quite well. For the teacher's high table, I add some taller chair backs, and I can assure you that is red paint on my hand and not blood. I then just paint all the tables brown, as so, and I also add a brown layer to the bottom of the wall because there is a dark wooden slat on that. And then I add in the tables and then the final wall. Then I start to create the roof, which has to be detachable, so I'm making that separately. It's just going to be 2 flaps of cardboard with little towers on it all the way across. The ones on top of the roof are round towers. And I also create these little windows. I don't know why there are windows in the roof of the Great Hall. It's not like anyone can go up there, and it doesn't let any light in because, the roof's enchanted, so that way it looks like, it's night sky or whatever. But, there's windows based on the outside appearance of this room, so we're going to go with that. I also create some square towers by adding rectangles of card onto a strip of paper, folding that round, and this creates a nice rectangular, like cuboid shape, which will serve as towers, which will be placed intermittently across the top of the tower. There's one in each corner, then two on each of the longer sides, as I show here. I use scraps of paper just to make sure that they don't fall off. And then I cut out little squares of the roof where they'll like lock in between the towers. It helps make the roof stay in place. And then I go on the very laborious task of putting on all the roof tiles. These look great when they're on, but God, does it take a long time to do. And in some areas where I overcut the roof or cut it in the wrong place, I just patch that up with a piece of paper. And once the tiles are on, you cannot tell that at all. I then go over and start painting everything, like the towers I do in the same wall colour, and the roof is a muted down blue. As such, I do that on all the tower tops and the actual roof tiles. I gesso the inside of the roof. I don't put loads of effort onto the inside of here because you're not going to look at it much, but you know, it's nice to know that it is painted. I do the front bit in this colour, like beige colour, and then for the rest of it I do a dark blue with like, I try and do like a dark gradient in it, and then I add some like cloud-ish effects with the white. I also add a bit of cotton in there to create the sky effect. And then this is the final piece. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll like and subscribe if you did. It lets me know that this is something you want to see more of. Apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!